Oh my word, where do we even begin with that? I suppose we have to work our way backwards because we have no other option. Well done, Andre Onana. Well done. Well done. Big performance from him tonight off the back of a good performance that was really overlooked at the weekend as well. And I'm so happy for him. And obviously I'm so happy for Harry Maguire as well. A night that both of those players needed. But again, this is papering over the cracks to an absolute extreme because for the first 55 minutes of this game, we were absolutely god-awful. And then we played relatively well between 55 and 94. And then we did our absolute utmost to completely throw it away. And thankfully, Onana has saved us with that penalty because it seems the man of the moment, Scott McTominay, just can't avoid being the centre of attention by giving away a penalty in the last minute. And look, you can say what you want about the penalty being given. Personally, I think you have to look at the clock and say that there were 4 minutes of added time given. And when McTominay makes contact with the Copenhagen forward, the clock says 94 minutes and 50 seconds. So maybe there shouldn't have even been a penalty in the first place, but it doesn't matter because Onana has saved it. And look, I think Garnacho might get into a bit of trouble for scuffing up the penalty spot, but I don't think it affected the penalty too much. Henrik Larsson's son, the former Manchester United man's son, stepped up and Onana produces a brilliant save, and not his only brilliant save of the night, I have to add as well. He had a very, very good game, Andre Onana, but like I said, that proves that this performance and this result is covering up the cracks. We should be beating Copenhagen comfortably. I did 2-0 in my prediction as a sort of generous prediction because I didn't have high hopes for tonight. I thought we would still win, and thankfully we have, but the way we've been playing and even the way we played tonight, it's not good football, and it is really worrying signs going into the Manchester derby, it has to be said. But like I say, we have to talk about the positives first, and like I say, really pleased with Onana tonight. His passing was fantastic, as you always expect, but he made key saves at crucial moments. At the start of that second half in particular, we were getting absolutely pummeled at the start of that second half, and Onana produced 2 really good saves. And that kept us in it at the start of that second half and allowed us to then build from those chances that we kept out, grow into that second half and then start creating chances of our own. And then, of course, Harry Maguire, who was man of the match the other night. He was man of the match again tonight for me. 2 back-to-back brilliant performances from Harry Maguire. And I think it's because we've actually adjusted our style of play to suit him being back in the team. We have started sitting further back. I think given the fact that we were getting overrun in midfield and there were too many chances in behind us, particularly in the games at the start of the season. You look at that game against Wolves where we kept getting hit in behind and chances were being created. What we've done tonight is and again against Sheffield United, we've not pressed. And I know there was a lot of people in the crowd that were moaning that we weren't putting any pressure on Copenhagen. At the end of the day, if you're going to play Harry Maguire, you have to play to Harry Maguire's strengths. And Harry Maguire plays well when he's in a side that sits in deep and allows him to just use his physicality, his positioning, and his defensive skills to manipulate the defence. And that is what he did tonight. He did that very well. And from then, when he got the ball, he was the one that was being positive, playing passes into midfield. If a pass wasn't on, he wasn't passing it back to Varane. He wasn't passing it back to Onana. He was carrying the ball into midfield himself. And that's actually where the start of his goal comes from. He picks the ball up in defence. Dave's going to fall over. He can't believe what I'm talking about Harry Maguire so positively. Maguire picks the ball up, drives into midfield, plays a little 1-2, then drives it into Garnacho. He then makes an overlapping run to the left wing position. Garnacho ignores him, plays the ball into the middle, goes behind for a corner, and then obviously from there, corner comes in, headed away, Eriksen gets the ball, swings it in, Maguire outmuscles his man, gets in front, power header, bottom corner, and a thoroughly deserved goal from him. And look, the amount of stick he's taken, I think it's admirable that he can still perform at the level that we expect Harry Maguire to play at. And look, he had a rough season last season, but I have to be honest with you, I've not seen him had a bad performance for Manchester United so far this season. He's been really, really solid. It's been the Harry Maguire that we saw in the first season for Manchester United, and hopefully it will continue. But like I say, we have to keep playing to his strengths if we are going to play him. And from there, we now have to talk about the negatives, because if we play like we did tonight, if we play like we did against Sheffield United on Sunday, we're screwed. we're finished. We've got no chance. We're going to get absolutely obliterated by Manchester City. And look, Varane and Maguire could keep Haaland incredibly quiet, like they did against Haaland last season at Old Trafford when we won 2-1. They could very well do that, but it doesn't matter because Dalot is playing right wing when he should be playing right back, and if Jeremy Doku's playing the way that he's played, he's going to run Diogo Dalot ragged and he's going to get blown away. Christian Eriksen, when he came on today, changed the game, and I have to say that as well. I thought Christian Eriksen was fantastic and one of the major reasons why we won. If Christian Eriksen plays on Sunday, our midfield will get overrun. Because as well as we played using him when we had the ball, without it again, he was letting those midfielders run past him again. And it actually got to the point where around 70 minutes or so, when those midfielders were making those runs, Bruno Fernandes was having to track back from attacking midfield, run past Eriksen, just to deal with that player, because Eriksen was just letting them go. So for me, as effective as Christian Eriksen was in this second half, I don't think you can play him against Manchester City on Sunday, because with the likes of Foden and Rodri and Bernardo Silva and Alvarez and whoever else they might play in that midfield, if Eriksen's in there, he's just going to let them go like he did Gundogan in the FA Cup final just a few months ago. So that's a major worry for me. Unclear if Casemiro's going to come back or not. And look, he's had enough now completely. But look, obviously I'm thrilled that we've got the win. And it's a much needed 3 points. But like I say, the level of performance isn't good enough. At the end of the day, Onana has been forced to make more saves than the opposition goalkeeper again, as was the case against Sheffield United. We are missing chances that we simply have to score. Rashford had a one-on-one where he's overhit his touch. Garnacho had a one-on-one where he's overhit his touch. He had another one-on-one where, well, it was even a two-on-one. He could have squared it to Rashford or just placed it in the corner. He hit it straight at the goalkeeper. Then a chance fell to McTominay on the rebound. He put it wide. McTominay had a couple of other chances in the first half where he probably could have done better, particularly that header where he could have just headed it down like Maguire did, but seemed to head it up and out. We're not going to get that many chances against Manchester City. We may not get any chances against Manchester City if we play the way we did in the first half. So chances need to start being taken soon. And they're falling to the right people. Garnacho should be scoring chances. Rashford should be scoring chances. Antony should be scoring chances. The way McTominay's played the last couple of weeks, I expected him to do better with his chances. And they're just not going in the net. Final positive for me was Rasmus Højlund again tonight. I thought he played really well, backing in, creating opportunities. He was the one that was allowing those opportunities to come to the other players because he was being so physical. He's our only real optimistic chance, I think, against Manchester City. Can we hit that ball long? Can Højlund pin in John Stones and Ruben Diaz? We know Akanji's not going to be available, so he's going to have the height advantage on John Stones and Ruben Diaz. So can we pin them? Can we play that long ball into Højlund, bypass Man City's midfield, pin them down, and then try and feed in Rashford or Garnacho or Antony or Bruno or whoever in those little channels off the Manchester City midfield? I don't really see how else we're going to score because, like I say, performance tonight wasn't good enough. And I'll end it on Bruno Fernandes, who I thought had an absolute stinker tonight. And his passing was poor. His chance creation was poor. Every time he got in and around the penalty area, he shot when he had options around him. And again, his attitude. The one that summed it up for me was he played that phenomenal ball to Garnacho. And it was brilliant. I have to say, it was phenomenal. Best thing Bruno Fernandes did all night. Perfectly timed, perfectly weighted. And as we already spoke about, Garnacho took a heavy touch and it went to the goalkeeper. Bruno Fernandes' reaction was to fling his arms in the air, stop looking at the ball, and walk away to the halfway line. He then spent the next minute sulking on his own in the middle of the pitch. What he should have been doing, as the captain of Manchester United, is galvanising the rest of the team, saying to Garnacho, unlucky, we'll get you on the next one, and also saying to the rest of the team, right, we've just created a chance, let's now pile on the pressure, put even more emphasis on, we've just proven we can break them down, now let's try and put some pressure on them and generate another opportunity. Instead, he's sulking because he's missed out on an assist. He just shouldn't be captain. His quality is there for all to see, but he just should not be captain. And it's going to continue to be a detriment to the club while he remains captain, when there are clearly players in this football club that have a much better attitude towards how you should approach the game than him. And yeah, we'll see what happens on Sunday. Obviously, as a Manchester United fan, I have to be optimistic, and I'm going to spend all week dreading the fact that we're going to get beat probably 5 or 6-0. Potentially even worse, like Anfield last season. But I know the moment the clock hits 4:30 and the referee blows that whistle, I'm going to be as fired up as anything. And I just hope the players are as well, because I do believe in them. I do think on their day there is a football team in there, but I've just not seen anything in these last few weeks to suggest anything other than Manchester City absolutely obliterate us at the weekend. But at the end of the day, for the long term, for the season, it's a massive 3 points in the Champions League. Well done to Onana, well done to Harry Maguire, and well done to Erik ten Hag for bringing on Christian Eriksen when he did at the start of that second half, because he was the reason that we really got ourselves back into that game. Let me know all of your thoughts down in the comments as always. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you tomorrow morning for my next round of predictions.